How I Learned English, Part 1, Introduction. My name is Alex, and I want to share my story about how I learned English. It was a long journey filled with challenges, fun moments, and lots of learning. I hope my story will inspire you and show you that anyone can learn English with patience and effort. Chapter 1, The Beginning. When I was 10 years old, my family moved to a new city. In this city, many people spoke English, but I didn't know much of the language. I only knew a few words like hello, goodbye, and thank you. I felt nervous because I couldn't understand what people were saying. On my first day at my new school, I met my teacher, Mrs. Johnson. She was very kind and spoke slowly so I could understand. She gave me a big smile and said, "Welcome, Alex. I will help you learn English." Her words made me feel better. Chapter 2, Making Friends. At first, it was hard to make friends. I didn't know how to talk to the other kids. But there was one boy named Tom who was very friendly. He always included me in games and tried to teach me new words. One day, he brought a small book with pictures and simple English words. We sat together, and he showed me the pictures and said the words out loud. Cat, he said, pointing to a picture of a cute cat. Cat, I repeated, trying to remember the word. We did this every day during lunch break. Slowly, I started to learn more words. I learned the names of animals, colors, and everyday objects. Tom's help was very important in my early days of learning English. Chapter 3, Watching Cartoons. One day, Mrs. Johnson gave us a homework assignment. She asked us to watch an English cartoon and write about what we saw. I didn't understand everything, but I could see what the characters were doing. I watched the cartoon with subtitles, so I could read the words while listening. The cartoon was about a boy and his dog. The boy went on many adventures, and his dog always helped him. I learned many new words like adventure, help, and friend. Watching cartoons became my favorite way to learn English. It was fun and educational at the same time. Chapter 4, Reading Simple Books. After a few months, I could understand more English. Mrs. Johnson gave me simple books to read. These books had big pictures and easy words. My favorite book was about a little girl named Lucy who loved animals. Every page had a new story about Lucy and her pets. Reading these books helped me learn sentence structure and grammar. I learned how to use is, are, was, and were. I also learned about different tenses, like past, present, and future. Reading became an important part of my learning process. Chapter 5, Speaking Practice. Speaking English was still hard for me. I understood more words, but I was shy and afraid of making mistakes. Mrs. Johnson told me, "It's okay to make mistakes, Alex. That's how we learn." She started a speaking club after school. In this club, we played games and talked in English. One game was called Describe It. We had to describe a picture without saying the name of the object. For example, if the picture was of a dog, we could say, "It is an animal. It barks. It has 4 legs." At first, I found this game difficult, but with practice, I became better. I started to feel more confident speaking in English. The speaking club was very helpful for my progress. Chapter 6: Using English in Daily Life. As I learned more, I tried to use English in my daily life. I started by speaking English at home. My parents didn't speak English well, but they encouraged me to practice. I would say simple sentences like, "I want water," or "I like this book." I also tried to think in English. When I looked at an apple, I would say apple in my mind instead of my native language. This helped me get used to thinking in English. Conclusion of Part 1. Learning English was not easy, but it was possible with the help of my teacher, friends, and daily practice. In Part 2, I will share more about how I improved my English skills and the new experiences that helped me become fluent. Remember, everyone can learn English with effort and patience. Stay tuned for the next part of my story. How I Learned English, Part 2, Chapter 7, Joining an English Club. As I continued to improve my English, Mrs. Johnson suggested that I join the school's English club. The English club was a place where students could practice speaking and listening in English. We met once a week after school and did various activities like debates, storytelling, and role-playing. In the English club, I met students from different grades. Some were beginners like me, while others were more advanced. I enjoyed listening to the advanced students speak. Their fluency and confidence inspired me. One of my favorite activities was storytelling. Each week, one student would tell a story, and the rest of us would listen and ask questions. One week, it was my turn to tell a story. I chose a story about a brave knight and a dragon. I practiced for days, making sure I knew all the words and could pronounce them correctly. When the day came, I was nervous, but everyone was supportive. I told my story, and when I finished, everyone clapped. This experience boosted my confidence and made me want to speak English even more. Chapter 8: Listening to Music. Music became a big part of my English learning journey. I discovered that many of my favorite songs were in English. I started listening to English music every day. At first, I couldn't understand all the lyrics, but I liked the melodies and rhythms. I decided to print out the lyrics and follow along as I listened to the songs. One of my favorite songs was Imagine by John Lennon. The lyrics were simple but powerful. I would listen to the song and try to sing along. This helped me improve my pronunciation and rhythm. I also learned many new words and phrases from the songs I listened to. I created a playlist of my favorite English songs and listened to it whenever I could. while doing homework, walking to school, or relaxing at home. Music made learning English fun and enjoyable. Chapter 9: Watching Movies. As my English improved, I started watching English movies without subtitles. At first, it was challenging, but I enjoyed the process. Watching movies helped me understand how native speakers used intonation, expressions, and body language to communicate. I learned many idiomatic expressions and slang words that were not in my textbooks. One movie that had a big impact on me was Forrest Gump. The main character, Forrest, spoke in a simple and clear way, which made it easier for me to understand. The movie was full of emotional and inspiring moments, and I learned a lot about American culture and history. After watching a movie, I would often write a summary of the plot and my thoughts about it. This helped me practice my writing skills and organize my thoughts in English. Watching movies became a regular part of my learning routine. Chapter 10: Writing a Journal. Mrs. Johnson encouraged me to start writing a journal in English. She said it would help me practice writing and express my thoughts clearly. I bought a small notebook and started writing about my daily experiences. At first, my entries were short and simple, like today, I went to the park or I ate pizza for dinner. As I became more comfortable, I started writing longer entries. I wrote about my feelings, my dreams, and my experiences at school. Writing a journal helped me improve my grammar and vocabulary. I also started to notice my progress over time, which motivated me to keep learning. Chapter 11: Practicing with Native Speakers. One summer, my family hosted a foreign exchange student named Emily. She was from England and was staying with us for 3 months. Emily was very friendly and spoke English fluently. Having her around was a great opportunity for me to practice speaking English. Emily and I spent a lot of time together. We went to the beach, visited museums, and explored the city. She taught me many new words and corrected my mistakes gently. Speaking with Emily helped me become more confident and fluent. I learned how to have conversations about different topics and use English in everyday situations. Chapter 12: Using Online Resources. The Internet became a valuable tool for my English learning. I found many websites and apps that helped me practice English. One of my favorite websites was Duolingo, where I could practice vocabulary and grammar through fun exercises. I also joined online forums where I could chat with English learners from all over the world. I discovered YouTube channels with English lessons and watched videos on various topics. One channel I liked was English Addict, where the teacher explained difficult concepts in an easy-to-understand way. I also watched TED Talks, which helped me improve my listening skills and learn about interesting subjects. Chapter 13: Attending an English Camp. During my school holidays, I attended an English camp organized by my school. The camp was a week-long event where we only spoke English. We did many activities like drama, cooking, sports, and arts and crafts. Each activity was designed to help us practice English in different contexts. One of the highlights of the camp was the talent show. Each group had to perform a skit in English. My group decided to perform a funny skit about a day in a zoo. I played the role of a zookeeper, and my friends were different animals. We practiced a lot and had a great time performing in front of everyone. The camp was a memorable experience that boosted my speaking skills and confidence. Chapter 14: Preparing for Exams. As I became more proficient in English, I decided to take the TOEFL exam. The TOEFL test of English as a foreign language is an exam that tests your English skills and is required for admission to many universities. I spent months preparing for the exam. I practiced reading, writing, listening, and speaking every day. I used practice tests and study guides to prepare. I also joined a study group with other students who were preparing for the TOEFL. We helped each other with difficult questions and practiced speaking together. The preparation was intense, but it paid off. I scored well on the exam and felt proud of my achievement. Chapter 15: Reflecting on my journey. Looking back on my journey, I realize how far I have come. From knowing only a few words to becoming fluent, my journey was filled with hard work, patience, and determination. I am grateful for the support of my teachers, friends, and family who encouraged me along the way. Learning English opened up many opportunities for me. I made new friends, discovered new interests, and gained confidence in my abilities. I realized that learning a new language is not just about memorizing words and grammar rules. It's about immersing yourself in the language, practicing regularly, and enjoying the process. Conclusion: my journey of learning English was long and challenging, but it was also rewarding and fun. I hope my story inspires you to keep learning and never give up. Remember, everyone can learn English with effort and patience. Use the resources around you, practice every day, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Good luck with your English learning, and thank you for listening to my story.